Hi, my name is Jim Boughton, and thank you for tuning in to A View to a Skill. Today we're going to show you how we make a marble cross. The marble cross that we're going to be making is going to end up being about 2 foot tall, 4 inches thick, and weigh about 100 pounds. And it's going to come from a block like this, a large block like this. Blocks here can run up to 40,000 pounds, and we use a large forklift loader to move those blocks around the yard and to put them on carts and push them into the building to be cut down to size. One of the ways that we can cut down a very large block of marble into slabs is with the gang saw. The gang saw is 18 fixed blades. They're separated by 3 inches and 4-inch increments. The gang saw starts with a large block like this and moves back and forth slowly, eating its way through the block of marble. It'll cut about 3 inches an hour, so average block will take about 20 to 24 hours to cut through. We use water to cool down the blades and keep the friction, the heat of the friction minimal, and also helps with dust. The block is put onto a large cart. The cart is pushed into place. It's blocked so that the cart does not move or vibrate. Once the gang saw is finished cutting all the way through a block, we chain that block because that block is now not solid. It's into a dozen separate pieces. So we'll put a chain around that block, pull that cart out, and unload those pieces of marble. Another way to cut down a large block of marble is with the wire saw. The wire saw is different from the gang saw. The gang saw is got fixed blades, so it's cutting 3-inch or 4-inch increments. The wire saw can cut any size slab that we desire. So you can cut a 2-inch slab or a 2.5-inch slab. We load the block onto a cart, similar to the gang saw, push that cart into the building, line up the wire, and then turn on the machine, and the wire will drop at a certain rate, cutting through that marble. The wire, it consists of plastic separating nubs of carbide diamond tip cutting edges. So the next step in the process of creating this cross is to take that large slab of marble that we cut either with the gang saw or the wire saw and bring that into the building and put that onto the sawyer's table. This table rotates, so the sawyer will make an initial cut and then rotate the table so that he's got a 90-degree angle on his next cut. The saw, again, uses water like the gang saw and the wire saw. The water helps keep the friction down, the heat of the friction, and also helps with the dust. After the sawyer has cut down that large slab to the size that we need to make a cross, it's brought here to the surfacer. The surfacer is a large pad that rotates very fast and that will take the saw marks off the top of the piece of marble. Whether it's cut with the gang saw or the wire saw, it'll have small marks from those blades on the surface and on the back of that piece of marble. So this machine will just grind that down so that it's a much smoother surface. Again, we use water to keep the friction down, the heat down, and it helps give us a much smoother surface. The next step in the process of creating this cross, after it comes out of the surfacer and we've taken off the imperfections from the saws, it comes to the polisher. This machine will take that finished surface and polish it down even more. You can end up polishing to almost a mirror finish, a really smooth, shiny finish, or different degrees of that. The person working on this machine will mark the marble with a crayon, the top of the marble with a crayon, and that is to let that person know that they've covered the entire surface of that piece of marble, so that when all that crayon has been sanded off, then they know that they're finished with that degree, and they can drop this head down a little bit further and keep polishing. You can polish up to a high degree of shine. Crosses are usually not polished to that level. So the next step is to put a template onto the piece of marble so that we know where to cut out the pieces. Template is mylar template. It's laid down onto the marble. It has to be measured for accuracy, for it to be centered. We use a lead pencil to trace out the design of that template, and then a yellow crayon is placed over that lead pencil, and that yellow crayon will protect that lead from it being blown away from the water and friction of the bandsaw, so that that worker can follow the outline when he's cutting that out. The marble is then placed onto this maneuverable arm so that it allows the worker to be able to easily move this piece of marble around when they're cutting it out on this saw. The bandsaw, again, uses water and has a very similar blade as the wire saw. It's a wire wrapped with plastic and carbide diamond cutting nubs. The worker will slowly take his time to cut out each section of this cross. The accuracy is very important because the next step is to grind down the edges from the saw marks. It's really important for that worker to make sure that the grinding tool is perfectly up and down accurately so that you don't cause any dips or imperfections in the sides of the marble. In order to smooth out the rounded parts of the cross, they will use hand tools to smooth out all those imperfections. So that is how a marble cross is made from a large block of marble like this. Thank you so much for tuning in to A View to a Skill. We hope to see you again.